I'm Kurt A. Eichsteadt, viewing the videos columnist for Gazette newspapers.
I'm Jonathan Van Dyke, staff writer at Gazette newspapers, and you are watching Viewing the Videos, an Oscar preview.
Jonathan, why don't you get us started with Best Actress?
All right, let's get to it. And your Best Actress nominees this year are Amy Adams, American Hustle; Cate Blanchett, Blue Jasmine; Sandra Bullock, Gravity; Judi Dench, Philomena; Meryl Streep, August Osage County. Kurt, what did you think of this category?
This is a good category. I was pretty much taken by Cate Blanchett in Blue Jasmine. It's a remarkable portrayal of a woman who has everything and then loses it all. It's emotional, it's intense, it shows a wide range of abilities while not overacting. So, tough category, my choice is Cate.
I'm actually going to go with a little bit more of what I'd call an electric performance in Amy Adams in American Hustle. I just thought for an Oscar darling like Adams, this was a very different role for her to get nominated for. And she really, more than any of the guys or even, a firecracker like Jennifer Lawrence, carried that movie with just a hyperkinetic emotion, but with some subtleties that still kind of, kept the mood going throughout the entire film.
And Amy Adams actually did another interesting job in the movie Her, where she was so much different from the live wire American Hustle character, and she was this much more subdued best friend of the central character. Nominees for Best Actor are Christian Bale, American Hustle; Bruce Dern, Nebraska; Leonardo DiCaprio, Wolf of Wall Street; Chiwetel Ejiofor in 12 Years a Slave; and Matthew McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club. I got to go with Matthew McConaughey. His portrayal in Dallas Buyers Club is nothing short of magnificent. The big talk about McConaughey is about how much weight he lost in the movie, but the performance is so much more than that. He just becomes this character who searches all over the world to try and find drugs that can be used in the fight against AIDS. These drugs aren't available in the United States. He's just wonderful. I also thought he deserved attention for his role in Mud earlier this year. Jonathan, who's your pick?
For me, I'd really like to get behind the McConaissance. I think he's going to win, and I think he's very deserving, but I'm going to go with Leo DiCaprio. A little bit of a different pick than I would normally think about doing, but he was excellent in Wolf of Wall Street, despite kind of still being his movie star self. And I think that's mainly because he jumped headfirst into the role and really was a comedic master and a physical comedy master in this one. So for those reasons, I just think that Leo's performance in Wolf of Wall Street was a tour de force this year, and I'm going to have him just edge out McConaughey, who was also excellent in really creating a three-dimensional character there. And the Best Director nominees are David O. Russell for American Hustle; Alfonso Cuarón, Gravity; Alexander Payne, directing Nebraska; Steve McQueen for 12 Years a Slave; Martin Scorsese, The Wolf of Wall Street. Well, Kurt, we're getting to the bigger categories here. What you got?
I'm choosing Alfonso Cuarón for Gravity. The thing about Gravity is it's pretty much unlike anything we've ever seen before. It's this story set in the vastness of outer space, but it's intensely personal among the characters. And for something that's different, unlike something we've seen before, I have to go with Gravity.
This one is definitely the hardest category for me. If I could, I would really prefer to do a 1A, 1B tie type of scenario. Alfonso Cuarón definitely kind of broke the mold with Gravity, but I'm still going to lean toward giving this one to Steve McQueen for 12 Years a Slave. I just think there's a lot of technical achievement with a little bit better job of working with the actors, working with kind of some of the emotional moments that give it a more complete director feel to the movie. But Steve McQueen, there's a famous scene in there where he holds on this just brutal scene, and it's just he holds it and he holds it and he holds it, and it's like just disturbingly beautiful. And there's probably 4 to 5 moments in that movie that just have this emotional weight that not only comes from the amazing performances he elicits out of his cast, but also his use of space and the camera. For those reasons, I'm going Steve McQueen.
McQueen did a good job in 12 Years a Slave. I can't disagree with that. It's visually magnificent, but it is also a story of great intensity and harshness. And the young lead actress, first-time movie role, McQueen got a great performance out of her. So I wouldn't be upset if McQueen got the award, but I'm sticking with Gravity.
Your nominees for Best Picture are American Hustle, Captain Phillips, Dallas Buyers Club, Gravity, Her, Nebraska, Philomena, 12 Years a Slave, The Wolf of Wall Street. Drum roll, ladies and gentlemen. Kurt, what is the best picture of this year?
Well, one of my unwritten rules of movies is that the director of the best picture should be the best director. I'm breaking that rule this year. I picked Alfonso Cuarón of Gravity for Best Director, but I'm choosing Steve McQueen and 12 Years a Slave for Best Picture. McQueen's depiction of an important part in American history is intense, it's emotional, and his work at drawing unbelievably good performances out of a wide variety of actors is something that we'll be talking about for a long time. And the subject is so important that we need to be reminded about a particular era in our history.
Kurt, I've tried hard to disagree with you throughout today, but we're landing on the same movie, and it's got to be 12 Years a Slave this year. It wasn't always that way in my head. I will say fellow nominee Her really resonated with me when it first came out, but there's something so much greater to 12 Years a Slave that I can't ignore. To me, it's too important for that to get the recognition. But 12 Years a Slave, there's not a combination of beautiful filmmaking with important acting and important issues as there was with 12 Years a Slave. There's just, 3 to 5 vignettes there that perfectly show what movies can do as far as visual storytelling. And then you bring in this just giant armada of amazing actors that can really convey all these different levels of what was happening with slavery in the South back then.
It's interesting that you mention Her, because Her in its own way deals with a profound social issue about people becoming overly overwhelmed, overly involved with their cell phones. And in Her, of course, the central character actually falls in love with his operating system. Now that seems like a preposterous premise, but on the other hand, look around and see how many people are deeply engrossed in their phones all the time, walking around, bumping into things, ignoring conversations, ignoring best friends. And that's an issue that's probably going to be important as time goes on.
Well, that's it for our picks. The Oscar ceremony is going to be next Sunday, March 2nd, starting with a red carpet show at 4 p.m. on ABC 7 in Los Angeles.
Thanks to our friends here at the Art Theater for letting us do our Oscar preview here. They're doing an invitation-only viewing party on Oscar night. Check their website, arttheaterlongbeach.com, for details. I'm Kurt A. Eichsteadt.
And I'm Jonathan Van Dyke, and until next year, that's a wrap.